Okay, what's your sense? That's again a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Okay, welcome back to another video where we're talking about A House of Hidden Meanings, memoir by RuPaul. Now, last time I checked out with y'all, I was on, I believe, chapter 4, which was, I believe, duality. Let's get into it. No, chapter 4 was called Power. So today we're going to go ahead and get into chapter 5, Belonging. Okay, we might even go on into chapter 5, 6, and 7. 7 is called Snipe. Okay, so let's start talking about chapter 5 and what's going on. Okay, chapter 5's title is Belonging. So I'm taking so long, I'm just trying to make sure I read the opening quote from that chapter before I start the breakdown. Chapter 5. I can't explain the magic that enlivens those performances other than a sense of play, a spirit of goofy, childlike fun, and unwillingness to step into the quicksand of life's seriousness. Which I think these pictures are so cool of seeing Rue in, their earlier days. So into chapter 5 of Belonging. RuPaul gets a casting on his favorite show to perform a number that he had used to been used to rehearse with his older sister, which of course he was not congratulated, by his family at the time, but Rue was aware that his family knew that he was going to be famous. Even given to the psychiatrist or the I don't want to say witch or something that's offensive, but the teller, fortune teller, whoever Rue mom went to see, before while she was pregnant to tell her that, her child was going to be a star. Okay. This is something that becomes very important and very prevalent in this book and to the launch of Rue's career, the American Music Show. How did you put into words the way it feels to find your people, to belong, to finally be understood, to know the connective tissue that binds you to someone else? Rue took acid for the first time. This book, or at least in Rue's journey, the drugs be drugging. Okay, they be drugging down. Rue took acid for the first time. On his first trip of acid, he met 3 new friends on this journey. Rue and his new friends went to see a band named New Explosion. New Explosion is very prevalent too. You will hear about them again. Here's what I wanted to be. I want to belong. I want to be felt. I want to be known. The satisfying click of the one piece into another when you find people who just get it. And the chapter ends with, I hadn't just come back with what I wanted. I had come back with something better. So Rue is just on this journey of finding themselves. And it can be very difficult, especially in the 60s and the 70s, where being gay was almost not unheard of, but it wasn't as prevalent or very on the front street as it is today. And Rude and after a lot of people, man. Okay, we're gonna go straight into chapter 6, duality. Um, Mark, who is Rue's current love interest at the time, moves into Rue's apartment by that summer. Okay, they were seeing each other, but they knew that this relationship wasn't gonna last. Um, Sweet Gum had a drug bar on Cheshire Bridge Road. A drag queen named Lakeisha Lucky. She saved your born naked, the rest is drag. This is a quote from um, a drag queen named Lakeisha Lucky from Cheshire Bridge Road, born naked, the rest is drag. Life is full of dualities. RuPaul first uses of drugs was a middle finger. What? Oh no, RuPaul's first uses of drag was a middle finger to the world for not being accepted. How is this for your fitting in a box? If had nothing to do with identity. It had nothing to do with identity. It defied the binary. Ruth said I had built resentment for not being the reason that a man would be willing to risk everything for. Posters, and he put, so when I take these notes, I'm putting down the most important things that stood out to me while I was reading. And he also put down posters that is RuPaul is everything. And later on we'll find out, I believe in chapter 7, RuPaul took down RuPaul is everything. He started saying RuPaul is red hot. Okay. So chapter 7, yes, we talked about it that fast. Chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7. Chapter 7 is Snipe, to be purely objectified in a sexual hierarchy and the perceived as genuinely sexy. Snipe, as opposed to set apart from the world, it felt more new being shut out that far for so long. They went they want a vocabulary, a lifestyle, an aesthetic that gives along with whatever than buying nowadays what we feel like, what we call a brand, basically. Diana Ross was a huge inspiration to Black people. She represented everything that they wanted in pop culture back in that time. Ruth stated, "You don't have to be afraid of us, white people. We can be everything that you can be and more." Mar had broken Ruth's heart and would remain devastated for 4 years. Um, One of Ruth's favorite songs was "Can't Fake the Feeling" by Gerald Hunt, and "I Don't Want to Lose Your Love" by The Emotions. Millie Jackson, "If Loving You Is Wrong Is I Don't Want to Be Right." Rue wanted to be a bigger rock star than playing in clubs. They managed to experience prom, even though Rue dropped out of school. Rue wants to be better, like Warhol. And he also met this woman named Ruth Pulaski that booked him in New York. So yeah, those are most things that stood out to me in that chapter. I just, if I can give a synopsis of all those things and all those notes I just gave and tidbits about it, I think Rue is just on their journey to figure out who they are. Drag is not popularized. They're just now seeing trans women, trans men. They dropped out of school. They never really had a tight relationship with their mother or their father. I'm not saying they didn't know them well or were in communication with them. This was just a transformative moment for Rue now that he became independent. Well, they became independent, and the world is constantly changing. And Rue knew that they had something so important to say to change lives. And it was a whole lot of just self-discovery. If you notice throughout these chapters, Rue is driving vehicles back and forth from San Diego to Atlanta, from Atlanta to New York, New York to Atlanta, and vice versa. And when you're trying to find yourself and you're destined for more, and you have so many questions and you challenge the status quo, you're going to constantly be searching for elevation. You're going to be constantly searching for new groups and new areas, and new people with new mindsets who can adopt new behaviors and new ideologies. And to me, that's what Bruce seemed like. He was searching for community, something that I can relate to right now. For people who are just like you, who want to be in your circle, who enjoy fun, and I could see a lot of stereotypical things. Not, I don't think this is done on purpose, but even growing up, gay and black, is stereotypes to where it's like all gay people want to do is have sex, well, fornicate, do drugs, and dance and party, before they get sent up out of here. Okay, honey. Um, but I just, and some things do be proved to be true inside this book. I promise every chapter that I read up to, I believe I'm on chapter 8 now. They up in here dancing, honey. They get to the groove. But that's also the club life. And sometimes gay people and members of the LGBTQIA were forced to move to nightlife because they couldn't walk around and be themselves during the daylight without being attacked or being, you know, just ridiculed. And most of the time at night is when the prospects be out looking for what they looking for, even though they are hating during the day. So all in all, I think Rue is navigating this lifestyle that is almost seeming impossible. And Rue said, they called me, all type of f bombs and sissies and all kind of stuff, but I like to read it in RuPaul's voice. I ain't paid them no mind. Okay, I feel like that's how they would say it. Um, if they not paying your bills, pay them bitches no mind. So I don't. Do I think it's downplayed in this book a little bit about the f bomb and being called a sissy because nobody likes to be called that. But maybe Rue really, really, didn't have an issue with that. I would never personally know. I can only go by the words in this book. But that has been chapter 5, 6, and 7, and I can't wait to bring you all chapter 8. I hope that you took something from this video, and I hope that you go out and get your own interpretation of the House of Hidden Meanings by Rue Paul Charles. And I hope that, especially if you're a member of the LGBTQIA and you're looking for answers and looking for something to help you understand your upbringing, your foundation, or understand how members of the LGBTQIA can find moments of success and what they do during their upbringing that led them to the pivotal transformation that allowed them to attract and obtain so much success in their life. So has been the Shamtastic Game Book Club, and I feel like that's what I want to call it. I've been really getting to want to change my message and create mission statements for all the videos and things that I've been doing. So I think I'm going to create this and say this is a book club because at this point that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting reporting on what I'm reading. So until I find community, who enjoys reading and we can get together and be reading books together, I will just be a one member book club, Shantastic Game Book Club. And I will see you all in the next video. Ah.